In this video, I have decided to come up with a new topic of NMR spectroscopy, and it's a short video. And in this video, I'll only discuss how using the NMR data we can predict a structure. So considering that you have the basic idea of how NMR works and how the effects of various substituents on a carbon atom affects the NMR signal, I'll go into the details, or I'll go into short details how we can find the data from how we can find the structure from the NMR data. So it's needed that you remember some of the values for particular protons. This will help you in making fragments of the carbon groups having those protons. So when you see the NMR data from 0.5 to 2.0, so these are those protons which are attached to those carbons which do not have any electronegative substituent on them. It may be on the neighboring atom, but on that carbon atom there are no electronegative substituents. So as you can see, 0.5 to 2.0, proton attached to sp3 carbon with no electronegative attachment. Similarly, from 2.0 to 5.0, so in this range the carbon will still be sp3, but it will have one electronegative attachment. Now that electronegative attachment may be low electronegative, high electronegative. Depending on that, it can again have two ranges from 2.0 to 3.0, mostly less electronegative like bromine or iodine. These kind of things are attached to that carbon atom. But if some highly electronegative atom like oxygen or fluorine is attached, then the value will increase from 3 to 4.5 or 5.0. Okay. Again, if instead of one electronegative attachment, two electronegative attachment is there, then again the value will shift from 2 towards 5. Okay. Now, both of these cases are for sp3 carbon. Now, if the proton is attached to an sp2 carbon, in that case, the value will come in the range of 5.0 to 8.5. Now, again, in this case, there are two types of sp2 carbon that we can have. First is the ones which are in aromatic ring, and the second is olefinic carbon. So in case of olefinic sp2 carbon, the value for the proton NMR comes in 5.0 to 7.5, and in case of aromatic carbon, it comes in 6.5 to 8.5. And you will see in most of the cases, it's actually very easy to find out which are the aromatic protons using this particular value. We'll see some examples also. Then for the aldehydic proton, that means I'm talking about this proton. This comes in the range of 8.5 to 10.5, and obviously it will have a singlet. Okay, and lastly the carboxylic acid proton, that means the same, just OH, and again this will be singlet, and it comes in the range of 10.5 to 12.5. One mention has to be made here that acetylenic proton comes in the range of 1.5 to 3.0 ppm for other reasons, not because of the electronegative effect. And for NH or OH, it can come in the range of 2 to 8. There are no fixed value for this, but most of the time a hint is given to indicate that there is an OH or an NH group by saying about deuterium exchange. Okay. So if anything is mentioned about deuterium exchange, there is high possibility there might be an NH or OH group present in the molecule. Okay. Now most of the time, along with proton NMR, carbon NMR data is also given. So we'll also look at those values which correspond to similar hierarchy for the carbon NMR. So for 10 to 40 ppm, it is again an sp3 carbon which doesn't have any electronegative attachment. Now this 40 limit need not be true every time. It might happen that something which is having 39 has an electronegative attachment, or something which is 41 is not having electronegative attachment. Just a range is given from 10 to 40. The carbon doesn't have electronegative attachment. From 40 to 80, the carbon has one electronegative attachment. It is still sp3 carbon. From 80 to 100, it is an acetylenic carbon, that is sp carbon. From 100 to 150, this includes sp2 carbon, and it includes both aromatic and olefinic. There is no distinction here. Lastly, 150 to 200 will consider only of carbonyl carbons. We'll see some examples and we'll try to relate it. Now, just a brief idea that if a proton is attached to a carbon which has an electronegative attachment. So what it is doing, it is removing or it is withdrawing the electron density from the CH bond. As a result, the proton becomes less you can say electron dense. The electron density from the proton decreases. Say for example, you have fluorine attached to a carbon having a hydrogen. So this fluorine will pull the electron density towards itself. As a result, this electron density will also shift towards carbon. So there is less electron density on hydrogen. As a result, this is known as de-shielded. So the hydrogen is now de-shielded from the electrons or the electron density. As a result, the value of the chemical shift in ppms will shift to higher value. But if the other way around happens, so suppose instead of this you had CH3, and we know CH3 has plus I effect, so it will push the electrons, so the electron density in proton increases. As a result, the proton is now more shielded and its values will shift to lower value. That's what I've written. Shielding will happen when electron density increases. De-shielding will happen when electron density decreases. And if shielding happens, the value will go to lower value, and if de-shielding happens, the value will go to higher value. Now suppose you are given a data and you are given 4 structures and you are asked to predict the structures. So what will you do? So the first is to make fragments from the structures. Say suppose there is given 2 hydrogens have triplet and 3 hydrogens have triplet and 2 hydrogens have quartet. So in that case, okay, so before that, one more thing, that we know the formula of 2ni plus 1. This gives the multiplicity of the signal. So suppose I have a fragment CH2, CH3. So what will happen? These 2 protons will have signal 2ni plus 1, where n is the number of protons in the neighboring atom, which in this case is 3, and the spin multiplicity of that hydrogens are half plus 1. So I have 4. That means it is a quartet. So these 2 protons will have a quartet, and these 3 protons similarly will have a triplet. So if in the data you are given that some say for example 3 hydrogens have triplet and 2 hydrogens have quartet, you can very well say that this CH2 CH3 fragment will be present in the molecule. Now if you are able to come to the point that CH2 CH3 fragment is there, you will be able to see that from 4 options, 1 option is automatically removed. So this is the first step. So the second step is, now that you know the values, you start assigning the values to the fragments in the molecule. So like if you have 3 more molecules, you start assigning those values which are given in the data to fragments of the molecule. You will find that again one structure gets reduced out. Now you are remaining with 2 structures, and in most of the cases this happens that out of 2 structures it is difficult to figure out which one will be the answer, because the data goes for both. But if you look at the electronic effects, in most of the cases like conjugation or mesomeric effect or inductive effect, all those things decide which will be the final structure between 2 structures. We will see some examples also. So the final step and the crucial step for determining or predicting an NMR structure is to look at the electronics effects and decide out of the 2 structures which will be the appropriate or the correct answer. So we'll look at some examples from questions which have come previously in NET, GATE and TIFR, and using this table we'll try to figure out the correct structure. Now it will be good that you memorize this table, because including this value, because this is going to help you in whichever question you are going to attempt for NMR prediction. And also NMR structure prediction is one of the favorite topics in all the exams. So it's good that you memorize all these values or all these ranges. At the same time, in this particular video, I will not be discussing those questions which have coupling constant with them, because that needs a little bit more explanation that will come up in some other video. So now let us look at this question which have come previously. Okay, now let us look at some examples from questions. The easiest example I have taken is from December 2017. Now there is one more concept here, that equivalent protons have the same chemical shift value, that is, they have the same signal. If the number of different types of protons in a molecule increases, the number of signals will also increase, and this is going to help in this particular question. So if you see, there are 3 different signals. So we expect there should be 3 different protons in the molecule. Now, if I start from here, you see all of these CH3 groups will have same signal because all of them are equivalent. But coming to the aromatic ring, you see that this is this and this. These four protons are chemically not equivalent. They are chemically different. So as a result, because of the chemical inequivalence, they will have four different signals. So the molecule in this case should have had 5 signals, but in the data you are given 3 signals. Okay. Coming to this, there are 2 protons here, 1 proton here, and 2 CH3 groups here. So all of these will have 4 different signals. This proton is chemically equivalent to this, and this proton is chemically equivalent to this. So 2 signals from here, 4 from here, they should have 6 signals. Again, coming to structure number 2, there is a CH3 group. This should have 1 signal. These 2 protons will have 1 signal. This proton will have 1 signal. These CH3 groups will have 1 signal. So that means there should have been 1, 2, 3, 4 signals. But again, 3 signals are given. In this particular case, these 2 protons are chemically equivalent. They will have 1 signal each, 1, 2, and these CH3 groups will have 1 signal more. So there will be 3 signals for this case. This is one way to, you can say, reject the 3 structures and come to 1 structure. But if we use the values, now see 7.38 and 7.25, as I told you, for aromatic protons, it is in the range of 6.5 to 8.5. So we can say that both of these will belong to the aromatic protons. Now in this case, doublet, because there are 2 different, you can say different protons on neighboring carbons. So this will have a doublet because of this, and this will have a doublet because of this. Now both of these protons will have the same signal, but the number of protons corresponding to each signal is not given, so let's not worry about that. Now again, there is 1.29 chemical state value singlet, so that corresponds to this CH3 group. All of the protons will give 1.29, all of them are chemically equivalent, and none of the protons have hydrogen on the neighboring carbon. So the correct answer is this. So this was an easier example. Now let us look at a more complex example. Now in this case, this question came in June 2017, and if you see, the question has the very first data of a IR spectra. Now IR spectra, most of the time the data which is given corresponds to carbonyl. Carbonyl normally gives in the range of 1710 to 1740 centimeter inverse. Now it might happen that the value decreases to 1690 also. Why will that happen? Now the stretching frequency has the formula mu equals to 1 by 2 pi under root k by mu. That means stretching frequency is directly proportional to force constant. The force constant is the strength of the force. Now if it happens that the bond is becoming weak, the carbonyl bond is becoming weak, the stretching frequency will decrease. In what case it can happen? Say for example, there is a conjugation going on. So because of conjugation, there is a partial single bond character to the carbonyl. As a result, the stretching frequency will decrease. Or if in other case, the electron density between the carbon and the oxygen atom increases, the stretching frequency will increase because the bond is now more stronger. Okay. So now in this case, the value is close to 1740. So it indicates that there is some kind of conjugation which increases the electron density on the carbon atom. And as a result, the bond strength has increased, and there will be, you can say, there is the IR shift has shifted to IR value has shifted to higher value. Okay, now let us look at the proton NMR. Now proton NMR says there is a 3.59 singlet at 3 hydrogens. Now as I told you, for molecule for protons attached to sp3 carbon having 1 electronegative attachment, they also have 2 different signals, one for low electronegative and one for high electronegative. Now for the high electronegative, as I told you, it goes from 3 to 5.0, and in this range there is 1 signal of singlet. So that means of 3 hydrogens. So it must be CH3 attached to an atom which does not have any protons. Now if you look in all of these cases, it might be this structure, or this structure. It will not be this, because in this case this is CH2CH3. So this structure is discarded, one option is gone. So this is the very first step. make fragments. As you make fragments, you will at least discard one structure from the 4 options. Okay, so it can be either of the 3. Now again, this CH3 is attached to an sp2 carbon. Now an sp2 carbon, it does not have very high electronegativity as compared to oxygen. So as a result, because of low electronegativity, the value for sp3 carbon for value for protons of CH3 attached to sp2 carbon will lie in the range 2.0 to 3.0. So that means this structure is also discarded. Now let us look at these two structures. Now what are other signals given? So the other signal which is given as 3.32 triplet of 2 hydrogens. So that means you will have CH2 group, and in the neighboring group there has to be 2 protons. Now if you see, again there is a signal given of 2.25 triplet of 2 hydrogens. Now it might happen that it is the same triplet, or it also might happen that it is because of this group. So this CH2 group will show triplet from this CH2 group will also show triplet from this. Okay. Now it is also given that there is a 1.85 to 1.75 multiplet. Now multiplet happens when the protons are attached, say for example, now the proton of this carbon is experiencing 2 different types of proton on the neighboring atoms. Okay, these 2 carbon atoms are chemically different because of the X and Y substituents. As a result, this is in environment. This is an environment of the surrounding proton, 2 different protons. As a result, this will have a multiplet. So that means this corresponds to this kind of a structure. That this CH2 will have 2 different types of protons and it will show multiplet. There is again one more multiplet given. So that means the fragment will now increase. You will not make another CH2, CH2, CH2 because no more signals are given. It has to be the same fragment. So that means this CH2 group will have one signal, this CH2 group will have one signal, one of the CH2 will have this signal, and one of the CH2 will have this signal. Now let us look at these 2 structures. Now if you see, there is one hydrogen here. And in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 signals. At the same time, this will have one hydrogen signal, which is not given in any other case. That means this structure is also discarded. My answer will be C. So again, we need not use the third step, that is electronic effect in this case, but using the values, using the chart and making fragments from the values, we can figure out the correct structure. We can predict the correct structure from the given structures. Now we will look at some other little bit complicated or tricky questions which have come in NET and GATE. Okay, now let us look at some recent questions which have come. This question came in GATE 2020, this very year. Now the very first data that they have given is of IR stretching frequency. Now again 1720, very easy to say, it's a normal carbonyl. Okay, now the NMR data which is given is 8.1 to 8.0 2 hydrogen multiplet, 7.6 to 7.5 1 hydrogen multiplet, 7.5 to 7.3 2 hydrogen multiplet. So that means all of these corresponds to aromatic hydrogen. Now they are given 2 plus 1 plus 2, that means 5. So that means the group will have 5 different types of, that means a group will have 5 protons first of all, and 3 different types of protons. Now if you look at the first structure, it has only 4 protons. Fourth structure, it has only 4 protons. So these 2 are cancelled. Now it will be either of the 2. Okay. Now let us look at the other data. There is a triplet of 2 hydrogen at 4.3. 4.3, that means it is attached to a highly electronegative atom, which in all of these cases has to be oxygen. Now it has a triplet. So that means 2 hydrogen triplet. The neighboring atom will also have 2 hydrogen. So this is attached to oxygen, and this will have a neighboring atom having 2 hydrogens. So that means this fragment is done. There is a sextate. That means sextate means 6 signals, 6 peaks. And 6 peaks will have because of 5 protons. There is 2 hydrogen, 2 protons from here, 3 protons from here, and in the final one there is a triplet of 3 hydrogens. So these 3 hydrogens will have a triplet because of these 2. So that means 2 plus 1 triplet. So that means these protons have triplet because of this. These two protons have sextet because of this. These two protons have a triplet because of this. So that means these values correspond to this. So that means this structure is also not correct in this case because these two will have singlet, which is not mentioned in any of the case. So that means my correct answer is option number 2. Okay. Now let us look at another question which came in December 2018. And in this question again there is an NMR data, that is an IR data given which corresponds to carbonyl. No need to worry about that. Look at the NMR data. So NMR data has 6.2 broad singlet at one hydrogen, 5.5 broad singlet at one hydrogen. Now 6.5 to 8.5 was for aromatic hydrogen, but for 5.0 to 6.5 it is olefinic hydrogen. And in this case all of the structures have olefinic hydrogen only. Okay. 4.2 is a quartet. Now 4.2, that means the proton is attached to carbon having a very high electronegative attachment, which in this case is obviously oxygen. But the fact that it has a quartet will be there if the neighboring carbon has 3 different hydrogen. That means CH2, CH3. 2 hydrogens, these two quartet because of these 3 hydrogens. That means this fragment has to be there and this has to be attached to oxygen. Okay. Which is possible in which of the structures? So in this structure that is not possible. In this structure also that is not possible. So the only 2 possibilities these 2. So that means again 2 options are discarded, only 2 more left. 2.0 singlet of 3 hydrogens. Singlet of 3 hydrogens will mean it is having a CH3 group and the neighboring carbon atom does not have any proton. So that means it might be this or it can also be this. Possible for both. Okay. There is a triplet of 3 hydrogens at 1.1. Okay. So that means it belongs to this. From this I produce this fragment. So this is the triplet of these 3 hydrogens because of this. Okay. But even now you cannot figure out whether it is this or this. It is possible for both. Okay. Now look at the data for the olefinic hydrogens. Now olefinic hydrogens have 6.2 and 5.5. Now the range is 5.0 to 6.5 for olefinic hydrogens. Now in this case what is possible is that you have to look at the electronic effects. First of all, obviously this proton and this proton, and in this case this proton and this proton. Okay, fine. So there is a possibility of electron conjugation here, that is mesomeric effect, and it will show resonance like this. It is also possible that this resonance occurs from this side. Okay. In this case, this would be an extended conjugation happening from here, here, and here. Okay. Now, in this case, you can see the electron density on these 2 protons decreases. But there is no such thing happening for these 2. Previously also both of these are having sp2 carbons but no charge. In this case there is an sp2 carbon having a positive charge. So the range was 5 to 6.0, but you can see the value is given 6.2, 6.5. The value is given 6.2, which is close to 6.5. So that means we can expect some kind of conjugation is happening which is producing electron deficiency or causing deshielding on this carbon, because of which it will give this signal. Okay. So that means from these 2 structures again I can deduce out that it has to be this structure, not the 4th one, because of the electronic effects. We'll see one more example to make it more clear, which again came in December 2018 only. Again this question came in December 2018 and a partial data was given in the question. This is not a complete data. So IR signal is given at 1724, which corresponds to C double bond O, which is present in all of them. there are 4 signals between 120 to 150 ppm. That means all of these correspond to sp2 carbon. So that means for the aromatic rings. Okay. So this is going to help you to scrap out one of the two structures, because if you consider this structure and this structure, you can see all of the 6 carbon atoms of the aromatic ring are chemically different. So that means this is different with this and all of these. All the 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, all of them are different. Similarly, all of them are different here. But if you see in this case, 1, 2 and 2, both of them are equal, chemically equivalent. Why I am saying this? If you go from this side till here, if you go from this side till here, the environment remains the same. Similarly, 3, 3 and 4. So that means either it has to be this structure or it has to be this structure. 2 of them are discarded. Okay, now let us look at the proton NMR. So the proton NMR says there is 2 doublet from 6.8 to 8.5 ppm. So that means they are considering the aromatic protons for these 2 and for these 2. So that means that there is possibility for both of them to be the correct answer. Now they have also said the value ranges from 6.8 to 8.5. The range was 6.5 to 8.5. Okay. The highest point is 8.5, and when there is a value at 8.5, you can expect that the ring is becoming electron deficient. That is, de-shielding is occurring, because of which the value is shifting to the highest limit, that is 8.5. Now in which of the two cases there is more prominent de-shielding that can occur. Now see, okay, in this case, this the lone pair on the oxygen can donate into the ring. As a result, there will be an increase in the electron density. While in this case, what can happen is this can donate here, this can donate here. At the same time, what other thing can happen is that this pipe electron shifts here, this double bond shifts here. So that means there is a de-shielding possible in this case from the ring. There is a shielding occurring in this case. So that for the chemical strength values for the protons of this aromatic ring will have lower value, will not reach the values of 8.5. Since it is reaching it is going to the higher limit, we can expect de-shielding occurring, and which is possible in this case, and this is why this was the correct answer given in the exam. Okay, so NMR structure prediction comes with more and more practice. More and more questions has to be practiced. I have taken very few questions. A lot of questions are there in many exams. You take out paper, you have lots of free of time, you practice as many questions as you can, and in case you have any doubts in any of the questions, you can just put them in the comments. I'll surely discuss them in the next video from this lecture series, or even if I'm discussing any of the lecture series, I'll come up with those doubts in the next video. So if you have any doubts, if you have any queries, or if you have any other topic that you want me to make any videos, please post them in the comments. I'll surely come up with them.